So, we've had lots of conversations. She likes to refer to herself as chocolate, and I'm milk. And I said, those are the best things together, aren't they, honey? And she agrees with that now. And I know that it is a different world than what she sees it right now. But what I need for her to understand is that in her family, it is that world. My name is Julie Corey, and I have 3 children. My husband and I adopted from Russia and Ethiopia. I'm 41 now, and our first child came home when I was 31. My second son came home 2 years after that, and then we brought Naya home from Ethiopia about 2 years ago. So I am a stay-at-home mom, but I do a lot of part-time work just helping other adoptive families adopt, and I'm also in foster care ministry as well. Matt and I dealt with some infertility issues for quite a while. We had talked about adoption as an option, as probably all couples do, is, would you ever do this? Yes, I would, that sort of thing. But it wasn't until we had trouble getting pregnant that we decided that we needed to look at this more seriously. I think as a woman, it had probably been in my thought processes a lot longer than my husband's. And so for me, it was a matter of just trying to understand a little bit from other people and get information. But for Matt, it took a while. Took a while for him to move past that bloodline. I got to have my own bloodline in my family. And so we tried to get pregnant for about 2 years, went through all the treatments, all that kind of stuff. And then finally, when we truly opened the door to adoption, it was like a breath of hope for me. Because if you're in that infertility situation, you live by every 2 weeks. 2 weeks to try, 2 weeks to see if you've got pregnant, 2 weeks to try, 2 weeks to see if you got pregnant. And it gets really hard. And so to find out that there was another option out there was just like hope. When we started the process, what we did was we just started thinking about what's our heart desire? Where is God already bent us to love? And so, I had never had a super strong desire for that infant. Sure, it would have been great, but it was not a strong desire for me. Matt was okay too, so we kind of ruled out the whole domestic adoption option because we thought there were other people out there that really desired that infant, and there was no need for us to take that. And then, honestly, at the time, 10 years ago, foster care scared us. We didn't know anybody else who'd done it, and it was just a scary looking thing to us. I don't know why international looked less scary, probably because we weren't in the thick of it. It wasn't in our backyard, so it looked easier, but that's just where God led us at that time. And so, frankly, we decided to go Russia because though we were open to other races, we thought for our first kid, let's make it easy. Let's get a white kid, see if we know what we're doing there, and then we'll branch out. I have to go back to just, when we first got our son in our arms, we were in the middle of Russia. No family. There were 5 Russian caregivers sitting there staring at us as we dressed our son. And I'm a first-time mom, and I'm clueless. And I've got an 18-month-old who could probably put his own shirt on as well as I could. And so, just that, I know throughout that entire week that we were in Russia, Matt and I would just look at each other constantly and go, what are we doing? And not because out of doubt, but because we truly did not know what we were doing. And so, that was quite I don't know, it was just a shock. But when we came home, my first and foremost goal was I got to get to know this kid. I don't know him. I don't know his background. I didn't get a lot of history. I hadn't been with him for the first 18 months, nor the first 9 months in the womb. So I needed to get to know him, and I needed to connect with him and understand who he was and his likes and dislikes. And so, for my first son especially, and I think this is easy for all first-time moms to do, you spend a lot of time with that first one, and that's what I did. He was my sidekick, for 6 months. We were really connected so I get to know him. Naya came home when she was 18 months, and she is now 3 years old. And last summer, she learned her colors. 2.5, she learned like what red and orange and black and white and all those color words. And I tell you, since she's learned her colors, it's been a whole different conversation with her. In fact, she asked me in the car, or she told me in the car the other day that she wished she had a brown mommy, which, you know, she's 3 years old. The books don't tell you you're going to get that question that early. You know, if you've researched interracial adoption, you know it's coming. But 3 years old and your child wants a brown mommy. I can't say that I was hurt by it. It was just like, all right, let's go. Let's dig in and see what we can do with this. And so, you know, we've had lots of conversations. She likes to refer to herself as chocolate, and I'm milk. And I said, those are the best things together, aren't they, honey? And she agrees with that now. And I know that is a different world than what she sees it right now. But what I need for her to understand is that in her family, it is that world, that chocolate and milk go together really well. And when we get to those places outside of my house that are hard, and she's got to deal with stereotypes and all that kind of stuff, we'll work on that. But when she comes home, chocolate milk is great. My advice for just adoptive families and those who are looking into it, foster families, whatever either side, it is inevitable that you're going to have dreams of your kid, especially as an adoptive parent. You dream about what it's going to be like, and you dream what that kid is going to look like and all that, and that is fine. And sometimes, you know, God even gives you a face, an image of your child or an age. And that's great and all, but I think what is absolutely necessary for a family is that they can want and ask and plead for that blue-eyed 3-year-old. But in the end, when they're praying to God about who they want in their family, they need to be saying, let me fall in love with the child you have for me. So here's what I'd like. But in the end, I need the kid that you have for me, God, and not the kid that I've got stuck in my head somewhere. And that's important because it's so hard for families to think that, oh, I have to have a 2-year-old, or I have to have a certain color of a kid or whatever. And in the end, you need to fall in love with who you have. So that's my advice just for adoptive parents. And, you know, for the interracial side, and I am challenged by this. I do not do this well, but what I feel is important for Naya is that she sees other black mommies a lot. Because then she never gets in her head, what if I had a black mommy? She knows what it's like to have a black mommy because she's seen other kids. I think there's a danger for all adoptive kids to, like, they dream too. They think, what if I had this situation? What if I had that situation? And yeah, there's going to be some difference if she was in a black family than a white family, but probably not as many as she thinks or that she can dream up. And so I need to give her opportunities to see, this is what the Cooper family looks like, and this is what the Sapender family looks like. And yeah, there's some good things and bad things, but we're all just kind of families loving our kids. And so there's not that, I wish I had, if only I had this, then my life would have been set. Because her life's not going to be set because of the color of her family. There's a lot more to it than that. Delight in your kids. You know, my kids, especially, they're kids from hard places, so they've got some issues, and they came home with some baggage that's hard sometimes. And it would be really, really easy for me to focus in on those issues and whether I get them fixed or I just gripe about them, their issues. But I think we have to step back and we have to delight in our kids, and we need to play with them and be playful with them. And when you step back and you delight in those moments that they're just fun, quirky, odd things that you get to live with and raise, then suddenly it's okay. You live in the moment of how you can delight in them then, and not what did they do or what are they gonna do. because then it makes you a good mom. It makes you ready for whatever's next, and they connect with you and they love who you are because you're delighting in them. My name is Julie Corey, and my word is delight.